Hi guys, welcome to another episode of SCN. On today's show, we're going to be talking about the subtle art of negotiation. And to end off with, as always, we've got a few entertaining clips highlighting some of the best negotiators out there. Now, in the past couple of months, we've talked about a couple of facets of buying cars and selling cars. We've addressed how to market your car effectively, we've talked about how to photograph it, and we've talked about how to describe it. Now, on the other side of the fence, we're going to talk about how to buy a car effectively and some of the tools that you need to be able to negotiate to the best of your ability. Now, on every show, we always talk about doing some diligence, doing some homework, and it's no more important now than it's ever been before. When you're negotiating, it's absolutely imperative you've done a little bit of homework before you start. So we're going to take an example of a car currently advertised online at Surf4Cars for 250,000 Rand. So what I want you to imagine is this. The car's for sale at 250,000 Rand. You're going to get online and you're going to compare that price with various other cars of similar age and similar mileage. Once you've established a really good price for that car, so the client wants 250,000 Rand for his car, in this little example, I would hazard a guess to say that 210 would be a phenomenal price to pay for the car, 220, 225 would be a killer deal.
So how would you get there?
Let me tell you exactly how we get there, and this is the subtle art of negotiation. Now, you've researched the car you're looking at. Before you phone the buyer, it's absolutely, or the seller I should say, it's absolutely imperative that you write down a couple of key points. And this is how I would do it. If I thought 210,000 Rand was going to be the best possible price I could buy that car for, and also it would be the best deal I've ever done in my life, that's the number you put down. So 210,000 Rand is a number that you never think you're going to get the car for, but it's your starting point in a negotiation. You know the buyer wants 200, or the seller wants 250,000 Rand for his car, so you need to understand what it's really going to be worth to you. 210 is what you'd absolutely love to pay. 220 would be a hell of a deal. 225 would be a spectacular result, based on the fact that the guy's looking for 250. So what you do is this. You start the negotiation like you start every negotiation. It's about bonding with the seller. So you want to make the seller your friend. You don't want to just phone him up and lowball him on a deal. He's just going to put the phone down on you and that'll be the end of the conversation. So you need to understand, before you pick a number, try and do some bonding. Try and understand a little bit about the seller. Let him describe the car to you, and during the course of that interaction, you can ask him a couple of key questions. Why is he selling? What's he looking to get into? And it's more conversation than anything else. But then comes the time where you're going to have to pitch him a number. And the opening line, one of the classic opening lines that I use when I'm about to buy a car is, how close to a figure would you go? So in this particular instance, I would say to the seller, I see your car's advertised at 250,000 Rand. Let me ask you this, how close to 210 would you go? Clearly the seller's not going to go, okay, I'll take it. That's never going to happen. But 210 was a number I never thought I'd be able to get anyway. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, okay, if 210 doesn't suit you, 215, how does 215 work for you? Now the seller's still at 250,000 Rand. He's heard me offer him 210. He's now heard me offer him 215. So now we carry on talking. Now what I want to do is this. I want to make him a third and final offer. I want to make him an offer that I think he's going to be able to accept. So I'm going to say to him, this is a classic motor dealer line. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll pay you 225 for the car. We've met halfway. So the seller's going to go, what do you mean? And I'm saying, well, you wanted 250 for the car. I wanted to pay 210. Halfway between 210 and 250 is 225. So now the seller feels obliged to meet me halfway. I've offered him once, I've offered him twice. This is the third option. This is the third offer I'm making him. So in his mind now, he's going, okay, fair enough. Halfway between 210 and 250 was 225, for argument's sake. So we're at halfway. What the seller has failed to understand is that I picked the number of 210. It wasn't a real number. He was looking for 250. I started at 210, went up 5, went up another 10, and that's where we are in the course of a deal. Now the seller's been suckered into that negotiation. He genuinely believes that halfway between 250 and 210 is 225. The reality is that we picked the number of 210. That wasn't to say the car was worth 210, but in the seller's mind, our opening bid of 210, he's now driven us back up to 225, so it's a result for him. As we said earlier on, 210 would be ridiculous. If you could get it that money, you'd be doing very, very well indeed. Understanding the guy wanted 250, a reasonable discount would have been 5 or 10 grand. We've now got him to take 25 grand off the cost of that car. That's real negotiation, and it's all about sleight of hand when it comes to negotiation, because again, remember, we picked the number of 210, not the seller. The seller had 250 in mind. We've met halfway. We've just bought a car for 225,000 rand. Now, talking about great negotiation skills, check these guys out.
Finest of Strawberries, the finest in Hull, the best fruit stall you'll see. We've got fight night on Saturday, but for now it's all about the strawberries. Sir, my son, young man, a couple of pints of strawberries, just £1. Don't be shy.
2 rasps for £1.
2 what?
Rasps for £1.
2 rasps. 2 rasps for £1. Tommy, serve this man. 2 rasps for £1. We've got one man queuing up here. We've got punnets and strawberries. My darling, you with a headband. You are different gravy, just like my strawberries. Come on, let's gather around. 2 punnets for the pound. My man, strawberries. It don't matter, it's getting chilly. We've all got to stay healthy. 2 punnets for a pound. Show me your money, my son. Don't run away.
They're $5 each. They're worth every penny. They last a lifetime. And if you buy 4 for 20, you get 1 free. You want 2. So you get 1 for 5, you get 5 for 20. I know you don't need 5 peelers, but next week you'll need some gifts. And when you give that as a gift, you're giving them something they can't buy in any store. How many? 1 for you. They're going to think of you every time they set foot in the kitchen. How many? You want the 5? You only want 1, you've got no friends like me.
Those guys were out selling ice to Eskimos, as they say in the classics. Thanks very much for watching, guys. Don't forget to smash that like button and check out the original videos on the links below. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter. I've been Nick, it's been real. We'll see you soon.
Surf4Cars.